Welcome to the third part of the garage practices. Now, in the last two parts, we saw about the basic procedures that is done in the garages or the service stations and the difference between the normal garage and authorized service stations. In this part, we will see about the instruments which are required for the repairing procedures of the different components of the vehicle. So let's start. We saw the list of the components that was required for the different operations of the vehicle or the different repairing procedures in the service station. The first part from that was the hydraulic car lifts. Now the car lifts come in the different categories which provide you the lifting of the car whenever it is required. To transfer the car from the one floor to the second floor, we require the hydraulic lift. To lift the car for the repairing procedure, for that also we require an hydraulic lift. So the different types of hydraulic lifts are provided mostly in the authorized service station depending on the requirement of the service stations. So in that case, the hydraulic lifts of the different types such as a scissor type lift or the lift that provides you the lifting of the car from the one floor to the another floor. This type of lifts are being provided. Also the lift with the rotational platform is also provided in the case of the hydraulic lift. The normal lift which you can see in the figure as well, which generally lifts the car whenever it is required, whenever we need to do the inspection of the underbody of the car, then we can use this hydraulic lift. The second thing is the hydraulic floor jacks. Now the floor jacks is provided to tilt one of the end of the car so that we can repair that part or repair the side of the car. So generally the hydraulic jacks is provided in the service stations. Second thing is the portable crane. Now the crane which is portably operated in the service station is necessary whenever we want to lift any component from the car. Right, such as if we want to lift the engine or if we want to remove the engine from the vehicle, then we require the portable crane. The portable crane will generally lift the vehicle from the bottom to upward side, and that way we will not damage other parts of the vehicle. So this is why the portable crane is important in the service stations as well. Also there is a requirement of hydraulic press as well. The press is used to generally bend or to operate any pressing performance on the components of the vehicle. So these two are the basic instruments which is required in the service stations as well, and it is also provided in generally authorized service stations. Next thing you can see is the two-post hoist. The hoist or the lift, we can also say, is provided to lift a car, and the car will be lifted in such a way that you can see whole underbody whenever the car is lifted. In the graphics behind you can see the two-post hoist which is used to lift a car. The two posts, one on the left side and one on the right side. Both will be kept in for the supporting of the car. When the vehicle is lifted, you can see whole underbody structure. So by lifting a vehicle on this type of hoist, you can repair any part in the bottom or underbody of the vehicle. So two-post hoists are a must for the repairing or maintenance service of the vehicle in the case of any authorized service station. It gives you ease so that you can easily repair the vehicle by just going below the vehicle after lifting the vehicle. Generally, the two-post hoist is also being used with the help of the four-post hoist as well. The four-post hoist generally supports all the four wheels, and that is generally better for the heavier vehicles. But for the normal hatchback and sedan cars, the two-post hoist is used. As you can see, this is how the vehicle is lifted, and After lifting the vehicle, we can see whole underbody structure of the vehicle, and any underbody parts we can easily change or we can easily repair. You can see in the figure example of the 2 post hoist that we already saw the graphics in behind, and also you can see the figure of the 4 post hoist. In that case, the 2 ramps is provided and on that ramp our vehicle is driven, and after the vehicle is kept in the position, it is generally lifted for a limited height. After lifting, you can also repair the vehicle same as the 2 post hoist. Next thing is the tire changer. Now tire changer is a machine on which our wheel or our tire will be mounted, and after mounting that wheel, the tire can be removed by the machining processes. The machining process will ease you to remove the tire from the wheels. Right? You can see this is how the wheel is mounted, and with the help of simple machining element, you can easily remove the tire from the wheel. So this is a basic instrument which will also be given in the authorized service station as well. So this tire changer helps you to remove the tire from the wheel by very easy method by reducing the labor work. Next thing is the testing equipments. Which testing equipments are generally required in the service station? For that, the first thing is the cylinder compression tester. The second thing is the cylinder leakage tester. Third thing is the exhaust gas analyzer. And the last one is the spark plug cleaner and tester. Now let's see these 4 components in detail. For that, the first thing that needs to be looked at is the cylinder leakage tester. The cylinder leakage tester helps you to find any leakages in the cylinder. That leakages leads to the pressure reduction in the engine. That cylinder leakage, if present, needs to be found, and that has to be repaired or that has to be maintained so that the proper pressure in the engine can be obtained. So that if the pressure is not properly obtained, then the vehicle performance will be degraded. So in the case of the cylinder leakage tester, generally the leakages can occur in mainly the parts at the piston rings or at the inlet and exhaust valve. These are the main parts that can tend to the leakage of the cylinder compression. Generally, the leakage tester uses the tube meter. This is the accessories which is required for the leakage tester. For doing the cylinder leakage testing, first we need to do is to stop the engine, and after warming the engine, first what we will need to do is to warm the engine for 5 to 10 minutes. After warming the engine, we will stop the engine and we will remove our keys. After removing our keys, what we need to do is we need to remove the fuel pump and fuel injectors from the engine. After removing these things, next thing that needs to be removed is all the spark plugs from the multi-cylinder engine. Now after removing the spark plugs, at the place of the spark plug, we will insert the probe of the tester. The probe helps you to enter the compressed air in the engine. After entering the compressed air in the engine, the pressure of the compressed air will be measured in the gauge which is provided on the cylinder leakage tester. The leakage of the compressed air that we are supplying in the engine should be as low as possible, should be in the below range that will be given in the leakage tester. If it is leaking the air up to a certain mark, then there is a leakage in the cylinders which can be present in the piston rings or in the valves or in the gaskets, etc. etc. So if there is a leakage present, then we can measure by having this setup. The second thing that needs to be done is the cylinder compression tester. The cylinder compression tester helps you to test the cylinder compression pressure which is generated during the compression stroke. The compression pressure which is generated during the compression stroke should be maintained, and there should not be any pressure reduction during the compression stroke. Otherwise, the engine performance will be compromised. So, to check the cylinder compression tester, almost same type of system is used. Again, we will warm the engine for 5 to 10 minutes. After warming the engine, we will stop the engine, we will remove the keys, we will remove the fuel pump and injector, and we will remove the spark plugs. We will start by the cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4 individually. First, in the first cylinder, we will insert the probe in place of the spark plug, and again in this case what we will do is we will crank the engine. The engine will be cranked for 4 to 6 revolutions. During that, the readings in the gauge will be checked. If the reading is not proper, then we can see that the pressure is getting leaked from the compression and we need to repeat the engine. So this is how the cylinder compression will be checked. So these two methods are required for the engine performance. Other than that, the first thing is the exhaust gas analyzer. Now we all know what is the function of exhaust gas analyzer. Is to measure the exhaust emission that is coming from the engine, and that emissions value of those emissions will be measured by the help of the exhaust gas analyzers. The value of CO, NOx and hydrocarbons will be measured with the help of exhaust gas analyzer. If you are going for the PUC, then this type of exhaust gas analyzers will be used to measure the exhaust emissions. The last thing that is required to check the spark plug and to clean the spark plug. Now spark plug is used in the petrol engines, and the spark plug works depending on the spark gap. If there are any scales which is formed between the spark plug to electrodes, then it can create a resistance to our spark. Normal spark gap should be there. So what we do is we will put the spark plug in this tester, and after that the spark will be produced. The readings will be given in the spark intensity on the gauge, and if the intensity is not proper, then the cleaning of the spark plug will be done on the same instrument. So this is required whenever the vehicle performance is getting reduced or the vehicle is not giving proper spark in the engine. So these are the testing instruments which is generally required for our service station. So in this lecture we saw the equipments and the testing instruments which are required in the service stations. In the next lecture we will see the last chapter, that is on the workshop management practices. Until then, thank you so much.